I saw a fireball on the sidewalk.
You knew something wasn't right, but it just never enters your mind that it would be anything like that.
I just saw the one runner with just blood running from his face.
Yeah, there were people sobbing in the streets. And
he was knocked into the barricades by the blast.
Everybody just questioning, what's going on? You know, do you know? Do you know?
The runner's high that you get sometimes, it's hard to explain that to people.
You know, it becomes a lifestyle. I mean, my wife thinks I'm nuts, but there's nothing new there with a spouse thinking that about another one.
Makes you feel better. I mean, even though I ran 13 miles this morning in snow and it was horrible, I still feel better now than I did beforehand.
Running has really made me think of myself as an athlete, and that's pretty cool.
The weekly runs of 6-7 miles help your base, but that long run on the weekend of 13 to 20 miles is really what you need to get you prepared for a marathon.
There's days I love it, you know, like Saturday with nice weather, you're out there running, maybe with some friends, you know, and it's just awesome. But there's plenty of days where it's just torture.
When it's tough, and you know, there are some runs that you feel really good and you know, this is great, and there are other times where it's like, this is really crazy stupid, why am I doing this? I really think about that, you know, think about running down Boylston Street and what that's going to feel like.
I think for anybody that starts running and anybody that's running marathon, Boston's kind of the golden ring.
I mean, Boston's the marathon for, you know, in the U.S.
You just can't go and say, I'm going to run Boston. You have to qualify for it. And honestly, I never thought I would qualify for it.
You know, it's like how many people like say I enjoy football, like I don't care like how good you are, you know, like once you're my age or something, you're not going to go to the NFL and play and get to play in a Super Bowl. Whereas like for regular people like me, it's like your chance to enter like the Super Bowl of running. And
you know, for me, it was the pinnacle of my running career. Never thought, you know, to actually qualify for Boston. I mean, it's surreal.
It was what looked like a perfect day for running.
I proposed to my fiance at the start.
And when that gun goes off, you sort of get goosebumps.
And I can see just this whole hill of people. I mean, you don't know these people, you'll never see them again, and they're just supporting all the runners.
And as you get closer to Boston, you know, they're 1 deep, they're 2 deep, they're 4 deep.
And when you turn that last corner and you see the finish chute ahead, you know, I ran Boston, I did it, I finished.
It was a regular day. I mean, it didn't really seem any different, and then it all changed, so.
I saw a fireball on the sidewalk. And instantly, everybody just stopped. I was within the last half mile of the marathon. I had just run past a motorcycle policeman. He jumped on his motorcycle and went down to the end of the block that I was running in, held up his hands and said, "Stop the race has stopped." There's been an explosion at the finish line.
To me, it sounded like a dumpster being dropped. I was talking to another friend that I knew, and we kind of both were just like, and then we heard it again. I still didn't think anything until she came running up. She's like, I think something happened.
There was a lot of sirens, just more sirens than there should have been.
Ambulances and police, and then SWAT teams were coming past. It was just incessant.
I was in the medical tent because I had cramped, and then we heard explosions. Then the next thing I know, I turned around as we were walking out, and they were bringing runners in that were injured, and saw the one runner with just blood running from his face, and just almost like shock.
Where I was, it was 2 blocks away. And I remember saying to a couple people who I didn't know that, I think this was a bomb, we better get out of here.
I mean, everyone was making calls, those cell phone towers, everything like that, were all blocked. And
nothing works. You can't get on the internet.
So the world around us knew what happened before we did.
You didn't understand the magnitude of it, of what it really meant, until I got to the hotel room, and then I could see the footage, you know, that they were showing on the news channel of these actual explosions happening.
It was just almost like pandemonium.
There were people sobbing in the streets and just clearly, you know, visibly upset.
Everything changed. The whole atmosphere, you know, just went from very festive to very somber.
It was frightening. You didn't know if they were done. My husband managed to find me We have a tracking device on our phones. I was freezing, and he tried to give me his jacket, and his jacket smelled of explosives. He was knocked into the barricades by the blast. He was not very far from where people were injured. It was just a matter of the way the pressure cooker, the way the lid was facing.
It was just all so surreal. I mean, it was just like, is this really happening?
You know, police officers, FBI, the security agencies, you know, they were all in their flak jackets with assault rifles just jogging down the streets, and I'm thinking, this looks like a war zone. And then I'm thinking, this is a war zone.
Never forget looking out the window at one point and just looking at adjacent rooftops. You see cops with bomb sniffing dogs on these rooftops, and it's just, I mean, it felt like the scene out of a movie.
It was just hard to believe that a human being could do that to other human beings.
These things can happen anytime, anywhere.
There's no way they can police the entire 26.2 miles. It just can't be done. So do you not race? I mean, that, to me, that's not an option.
And from my personal perspective, you're not going to change your lifestyle and things because things like that happen.
Now they say take back the night. We're going to take back our race.
We're determined to go back. They're not going to stop what we love to do. My girls are still young, but I want them to see that, you know, you have to live your life. You know, don't let other people dictate what you can and can't do.
Boston's a icon in the world of marathoning, and it'll survive and it'll come back better and stronger than it was before.
Don't mess with people who run 26.2 miles for fun.
Our goal was to get back again next year. And I think that was stronger than ever for me, that I didn't get to finish the one and only Boston Marathon.
And I just wanted to come back and do it again to, in some small way, show support.
I'm not sure what I'm going to feel, but I'm sure it will be very emotional going over and finishing.
I will cross the finish line. No matter what, I'll make it across.
Really, every run is a gift, and that's kind of how I think about running.
You know, I hope I'm running as everybody else, Boston strong.